Hey, what's up? It's Jared with State of Tech, and we have one of our first episodes of the Will at Fortnite. We have a mining rig, and this is straight out of my small little mining rig setup that I had. I turned off some of my mining rigs because it's just getting too expensive electricity-wise to keep these things cool and run in the weather that we have here in Central California, with it being 100 plus degrees all the time, and the difficulty of mining and everything. I just decided to only run a couple of my rigs and to turn some of them off. So I thought, let's try and see if we could actually play Fortnite on this. We have the rig here. You can see I did remove most of the GPUs. We just have a GTX 1060. This is an EVGA. We've got the Asus motherboard. We've got a Celeron processor. It's basically just 2 cores, 2 threads. So I don't even know if this is gonna work. I left the GPU connected to the riser, which I wouldn't even think that would work, but we're gonna see what happens. We've got the 1300 watt PSU here, which of course is way overkill for this, but it's what I needed to run 6 GPUs on this mining rig. We also have 4 gigabytes of RAM, which probably isn't gonna be enough. Let me just show you here the system settings, or the system information. We've got the Celeron G3930, the 2.9 gigahertz. Actually, I guess that is 8 gigs of RAM. I thought we had 4 gigs of RAM in there, but that is an 8 gig stick, apparently. Or at least it's being recognized as an 8 gig stick. And so we're running Windows 10, of course. I did have to go into Task Manager and just shut some stuff off. CPU was running at like 75%. Just with the base stuff required to idle, which I had to go and shut a couple of things down. I think it had to do with maybe some Asus related drivers that were installed when I went and just installed all of them. I probably didn't need them. So right now I've got a little bit of my resources back. I don't know how this is gonna go. So let's go ahead and open up the Epic Games Launcher. This is gonna be really interesting to see whether or not it worked. Now the first time, and I already launched this once just to get it installed and run the updates, you know, Fortnite will run its test to see what kind of settings it should apply for your settings in the game. And it went and actually set them all to epic level, 60 FPS, and sitting in like the lobby, not having yet joined a game or connected for a match, it was actually showing me a pinged out 60 frames per second, which was a little weird, a little confusing to me. And then of course, once I went and tried to kind of, you know, do anything, I was having problems. So it'll be interesting to see how quickly things load here now that I've kind of went and tried to at least optimize the system a little bit so that we could at least give it a fair chance. I mean, we're underpowered on the CPU for sure. The GPU is fine. A GTX 1060 should do us really well, but the lag here, the bottleneck is going to be, of course, the CPU. 8 gigabytes of RAM is okay, but you know, you might want 16 to get better performance. We also do have an SSD in here, I think 120 gig SSD, so we're all right as far as the hard drive goes. So this will be interesting. I don't know if we're going to be able to get much performance out of the GPU being connected to technically like a Gen 1 riser for mining. That's my concern. I may actually have to take the GPU off and put it on the motherboard, but it wouldn't be a true test of Will at Fortnite if we took that off and put it into a Gen 3 slot. So let's see what happens here. Looks like my FPS just is kind of hovering around 30 to 40. We've got the 26 milliseconds. That's quite a delay. So it'll be interesting. Let's go into Battle Royale, and I'm gonna make some adjustments to the display settings. This is a oh boy, I'm starting to see some numbers that I'm concerned with. So we're gonna invite Boom Jim here to play with us. I'm gonna go into my settings real quick. 60 frames per second. I think I'm gonna set it to 30 just to see. I'm gonna set view distance. I'm gonna put everything on high. I think that's probably fair. Now we're pinged out at 30, but obviously the delay is pretty crazy. Should I go 60? Let's just leave it at 60 and see what happens. I don't... no, it's not going to happen. We're going to leave it at 30. I just don't want it to crash, guys. That's basically my main concern. I do want to see if we could actually game at full HD. I don't know if we're going to be able to do that. So I'm going to put on my headphones. We're going to start a duo match and see what happens. At least this time I'm actually hearing sound, and I think I could probably hear Boom Jim. Boom Jim, are you there? Oh yeah, so we've got everything working the way that it should be. So I'm going to go ahead and start our game, and let's see what happens. Hopefully I can get through this without too much lag, and of course Boom Jim will be able to carry me because he's way more of an experienced Fortnite player than me, and so this will be interesting. Right now we're hovering at about 30. That delay is pretty crazy though, and I've seen some weird number dips, and so it'll be interesting just to see where things go as we play. So definitely you'll want to pay attention to Boom Jim. He's pretty decent. That's his handle on Fortnite, and then of course mine is dadbot.io. It's just a handle that I use when I play on games online with my kids. So, oh, this is pretty laggy, guys. We're staying around 30 frames per second, but I mean, you can give me 30 frames per second. That's that lag we were experiencing. Are you gonna drop a pin, Boom Jim? So far, I mean, there's some lag there. It's not too terrible. It's still a little laggy. It's like I'm playing with a headache. That's kind of how I feel right now. That's definitely a different experience for me. I've been, not that I play a whole lot of Fortnite, but I mean, this is, I'm not used to this kind of lag. This isn't too bad. Like, I'm not hating this, but I mean, if I got caught in a firefight, I would be done just because of the lag. Like, right now, it's not horrible. Actually pretty impressed with this so far, considering the specs. It's definitely got to be that 1060 that's carrying this system. But I'm really surprised, being that it's connected to that Gen 1 riser. I mean, I'm impressed. So that wasn't half bad. I mean, I seriously thought in the middle of this video I was going to have to power the system down and move that GPU down to an actual Gen 3 slot to get the kind of performance we were looking at. And for all I know, maybe that would give us a little bit better performance, but it does play Fortnite. I mean, that is the question here, is would this system play Fortnite? Now, a couple things I had to do to, of course, make this work better. The BIOS settings that had to be configured for mining, I had to wipe those and kind of go back to more default settings. I did make sure that Windows 10 was a little more up to date. I hadn't updated it in a while, but as you can see, I mean, this system does Fortnite, so actually pretty cool. I'll put a specs list down in the description for you so you can see everything there, and the estimate cost of building a system like this. It does Fortnite, and this would be pretty inexpensive system if you didn't have such a high-end PSU, and of course, you know, a reasonable case. Things actually wouldn't be too expensive. So with that, let me know what you think down in the comment section below. What's something that you'd like to see us try in Fortnite? Let us know in the comments. Also, check us out over on Instagram. We'll be posting some stuff over there. We're doing some stuff with IGTV as well, so make sure to check it out. Until next time, thanks for checking out this video. Click that subscribe, click that like. Take care.